Life isn't something that just happens to us. It's not a series of random events we're forced to endure or adapt to. Life is meant to be created, to be sculpted, and lived on purpose. That's the essence of living intentionally. Living intentionally means making conscious decisions about how you spend your time, energy, and focus. It's about taking control, choosing your priorities, and acting in alignment with what truly matters to you. It's not letting the world dictate your direction, but creating a life that reflects your values, goals, and dreams. So take a moment to reflect on this. How much of your day is spent reacting? Reacting to emails, social media notifications, unexpected events, or even the opinions of others. If we're honest, most people live reactively, moving from one thing to the next without a clear plan or purpose. But living intentionally flips the script. It gives you the power to say, this is my life and I'm going to live it my way. Consider the story of Sarah Blakely, the founder of Spanx. Before she built a billion-dollar business, she was selling fax machines door to door. That wasn't her dream. It was a job that paid the bills. But one day she decided to stop living reactively and start living intentionally. She identified her passion, wrote down her goals, and took deliberate steps toward them. Blakely didn't wait for the perfect opportunity. She created it. Living intentionally doesn't mean life will be free of obstacles. It means you'll face these obstacles with clarity and purpose. When you live with intention, you wake up each morning with a sense of direction. You're not wandering aimlessly. You're walking a path that you've chosen. That path gives you confidence because you're no longer at the mercy of the wind. You're steering the ship. So how do you live intentionally? It starts with knowing what you want. Take the time to reflect on your values and your goals. What truly matters to you? What kind of life do you want to create? Write it down. Clarity is key. Once you have a vision, start aligning your actions with that vision. This means saying no to the things that don't serve you. It means letting go of distractions and focusing on what moves the needle in your life. Living intentionally isn't about being busy, it's about being effective. It's about doing the right things, not just doing more things. Why should you live this way? Because the alternative is letting life slip by. When you live intentionally, you take ownership of your story. You build self-confidence because every decision, every action, it reinforces the idea that you're in control. You gain strength because you're no longer wasting energy on things that don't matter. And most importantly, you find fulfillment. Living intentionally transforms the mundane into the meaningful. Even the smallest actions, when aligned with your purpose, take on a greater significance. A simple workout isn't just exercise. It's a commitment to your health. Reading a book isn't just passing time, it's investing in your growth. Every moment becomes a building block in the life you're creating. So ask yourself, are you living intentionally? Or are you letting life happen to you? Remember, you have the power to decide. Your life is your canvas, and every day is an opportunity to paint a masterpiece. Stop waiting for life to align itself for you. Take the brush in your hands, define your vision, choose your colors, and create with intention. The power, the confidence, and the fulfillment you're seeking aren't out there somewhere. They're within you, waiting to be unlocked. It all begins with one decision: to live with purpose, to live with focus, to live intentionally. Life doesn't go as planned. That's not a possibility, it's a guarantee. You'll face setbacks, challenges, and moments where everything you've worked for seems to crumble. But the measure of a person isn't found in what they avoid. It's found in how they adapt when those obstacles arise. When the path gets blocked, when the plan you spent months or even years pursuing suddenly collapses, what do? Too many people see these moments as the end. They stop, they quit, and they settle. But not you, not today. Today, I'm here to remind you that success isn't a straight line. It's about adjusting your approach and finding a way forward. See, adapting doesn't mean giving up on your goal. It means looking at the situation differently. If the front door is locked, try the back door. If the back door is locked, climb through a window. If there's no window, well then build one. You're not here to be stopped. You're here to figure it out no matter what. The greatest minds, the strongest athletes, the most accomplished leaders, they weren't handed their victories. They hit walls too. What made them different was their refusal to quit. See, when plan A didn't work, they moved to plan B. And if plan B didn't work, they found plan C, plan D, or even plan Z. But stopping, that was never an option. I want you to reflect for a moment. Are you holding too tightly to how things should have gone? Are you so focused on the original plan that you're missing the new opportunities in front of you? Sometimes life's detours aren't punishments. They're redirections. They're life's way of telling you to change your approach, to try something different, to grow. Adapting isn't just about strategy. It's about mindset. You have to believe in your ability to overcome, to navigate, and to adjust. It's not easy. Your mind will want to complain, to say, this isn't fair, or I didn't sign up for this. But fairness has nothing to do with the process. Success is about persistence, grit, and the willingness to get back up again and again. Remember, setbacks are temporary. They're not the defining moments of your life unless you let them. Regroup, recharge, reevaluate, but don't stop. Don't let the fear of trying something new or the frustration of not being where you thought you'd be keep you from moving forward. Every setback is a setup for a comeback. Every closed door forces you to look for an open one. Every time you're forced to adjust, you're building resilience, strength, and creativity. And those qualities will serve you far beyond the challenge you're facing right now. You have everything you need to make it through. The power to adjust is within you. Take a deep breath. Step back. Look at the challenge from another angle. The dream isn't gone. The road just looks a little different now. When life throws you a curveball, don't quit. Don't let frustration or fear convince you that it's over. Adapt, adjust, and keep going. The goal is still waiting for you. It's just asking you to find another way to reach it. This is your moment to prove to yourself and the world that you are unshakable. Not because life is easy, but because you refuse to give up. Reevaluate, regroup, and most importantly, keep moving forward. You've got this. A lot of people talk about wanting more out of life, more success, more wealth, more happiness. But talk is cheap, and life doesn't just hand you these things. Success is not going to walk through the door, sit beside you and say, "Here I am." No, success is earned, and it's attracted to people who invest in themselves with everything they've got. So if you want more, you have to become more. You have to do more than you're doing right now. You have to be the one willing to go where others won't, and willing to put in more than you think you have to get what you truly want. There's this common misconception that success only happens to the lucky ones. But the reality is, it happens to the driven ones, the ones who understand that to get something you've never had, you need to do something you've never done. Because success is out there, waiting for the person who will rise up. So step out of your comfort zone and go after it relentlessly. This isn't just about working harder, it's about becoming the person that attracts success. So look around. Real success, lasting success, it happens when people commit to raising their own standards. They don't sit around hoping or wishing. No, they set a higher bar for themselves and go beyond the ordinary. They bring value into the world. Success is naturally drawn to those who add something valuable to every space they enter, who walk in and make things better for everyone around them. So think about how much value are you really bringing? Are you just going through the motions, or are you giving the world a reason to notice you? Because when you become valuable, you attract value. And that means not waiting for the perfect moment or the right conditions. It's about understanding that now is the time. There is no such thing as the right time. The right time is whenever you decide to move. Whatever it is you want, whatever dreams you're carrying around, you have to become the magnet with every ounce of energy, every fiber of courage, and every bit of determination you have. It's easy to sit on the sidelines and watch others achieve. But greatness belongs to those who are in the game, the ones who refuse to let fear or doubt stop them from chasing what they want. Growth is about consistency, to show up day in, day out, whether it's easy or not. It's about the steady push, little things done repeatedly, the constant improvement. Yes, it takes time. Yes, it's a process. But if you commit to it, if you trust that your work is making you into something, that effort will pay off in ways you can't even imagine. When you keep at it, when you refuse to give up, you're already a step ahead of those who quit halfway. Persistence becomes your power, and with enough persistence, success will find you. Here's what I want you to know. If you want more, be more. Be the person who goes beyond the ordinary. Be the one who delivers more, who serves more, who is willing to risk more to get where they want to go. Don't settle for mediocrity when there's so much greatness waiting to be achieved. Attract success like it's the only thing that matters. Because when you do, when you become more, life will meet you right there. Have you ever stopped to think about the power you hold in each moment? Not just the big life-changing moments, but the small, everyday decisions that shape the course of your life. Decisions are a superpower, one we often overlook. But here's the truth. Every choice you make, no matter how small, is a step that builds your life. The problem is most people don't realize this. Most people are stuck in habits, living on autopilot, victims of their routines. Think about it. How many of your daily actions are done even without thinking? You wake up, check your phone, maybe hit the snooze a few times. You grab something quick for breakfast, head off to work or your daily routine, and before you know it, the day's gone. It's easy to fall into the same patterns day after day without stopping to realize that those small, mindless choices are steering your life. The scary part is those habits can lead you to a life you never really chose. But it doesn't have to be this way. You have the power to make decisions that can change everything. Think back to a time when you had to make a big decision. Maybe it was about your career, a relationship, or even your health. It felt like the weight of the world was on your shoulders, but once you made a decision, your world started to shift. You decided to take a new job, and suddenly your daily choices started to align with that decision. You decided to leave a relationship that wasn't right for you, and it opened the door to new opportunities. The big decisions create a ripple effect, leading to smaller daily choices that shape your reality. Every day, you're faced with decisions that can either move you forward or keep you stuck. Will you take action on your goals, or will you stay in your comfort zone? Will you fuel your body with what it needs, or will you give in to what's easy? It's in these moments that you have the chance to flex your superpower, the power of choice, the power to direct your own life. The key is this: you're always one decision away from a different life. And it's not just the big choices, it's the small, consistent decisions that really define your path. The decision to show up, to be disciplined, to put in the work when no one's watching. These are the decisions that build the life you want. So ask yourself, are you living by design or by default? Are you actively choosing the life you want, or are you letting habits and routines run the show? Because the truth is, you can make a decision today, right now, that will set your future in motion. You can choose to take control, be the driver of your own life, rather than a passenger on autopilot. Life is a series of choices. You decide what direction you go in, what you focus on, and how you respond to what happens. Your decisions define your destiny. And here's the beautiful part. No matter where you are right now, you have the power to change it. You have the power to choose. So make the decision to live consciously, to break free from old habits, and to create the life you've always wanted. Because in the end, your life is made up of the decisions you make. Flex your superpower and decide to make it extraordinary. There's something really powerful about having a vision. I'm not talking about daydreams or wishful thinking. I'm talking about a real, clear vision for the life you want to live. It's the kind of vision that gets you out of bed in the morning, the kind that pushes you to work harder, and the one that keeps you going when things get tough. Without a vision, you're just wandering. You're moving through life, but you're not really moving forward. A vision gives you direction. It gives you purpose. It lets you know where you're going, even when the road gets bumpy. Look, who's your role model? Who's that successful person that you want to be like? Get an image of that person in your head. Now, whether this person is in business, sports, or another field or industry, I promise you that this achiever had a vision. They didn't just wake up one day and accidentally become successful. They chose to chase something bigger than their current situation. And guess what? That's what you need to do too. Having a vision is the first step. Once you know where you want to go, then you make the plans and you set the goals. I'm talking real, tangible goals, goals that stretch you, challenge you, and push you to be better. Set goals that make you uncomfortable, because those are the ones that are going to change you. But here's the thing, just setting goals isn't enough. Goals require action. They require you to follow through. And this is where standards come in. I mean, what standards do you hold yourself accountable to? I bet you hold others accountable, but you demand excellence from yourself. Or are you satisfied with just good enough? If you want to build a better life, you need to raise your standards, set the bar high, and don't settle for anything less. Hold yourself accountable every single day. Because let me tell you something, success doesn't come from what you do occasionally. It comes from what you do repeatedly every single day. dreams don't work unless you do. It's not enough to dream about a better life. You have to hustle for it. You have to be willing to put in the effort, even when it's uncomfortable, even when you're tired. You have to be willing to show up for yourself day after day after day. Yes, there will be setbacks. Yes, there will be challenges. Yes, you'll feel like quitting at times. But every time you push through, every time you refuse to give up, you get a little bit closer to that vision. Ask yourself, what do I really want? Am I willing to do what it takes to get there? How high am I willing to set my standards? And most importantly, am I willing to commit to the daily grind, the hard work and perseverance until I reach my goals? Your vision is your power. Your goals are your map. Your daily effort is the engine that drives you. If you keep moving forward, the life you dream about will become the life you live. Becoming the best version of yourself, I know, can be challenging. If you're searching and you're trying to figure things out, that task can feel overwhelming. You're not sure where to start. You don't know what the process is. How do I become the person that I want to be? All of it can be very confusing. So here's my story. At around 14 or 15, I made a decision that I was going to be an NHL hockey player. Because at the time, I'd made a club volleyball team, and their practices conflicted with my hockey team's practices. So my parents had to sit me down and say, look, you have to choose between the two. You can't do both. I remember thinking, well, there's no professional volleyball league, so I guess I'll go for this hockey thing. I had no idea how I was going to make the NHL. I'd never really been in the gym before. I didn't know what it took to be a hockey player. I just thought it'd be a really cool thing to be. So I literally had no idea where to start. But then I remember there was a player in my small town that was already playing in the OHL, which for you that don't know, it's an elite junior hockey league, maybe the best junior league in the world. Now, because I knew the family, in fact, they own the local sports store, so I was in there frequently, I asked them a couple of questions. If I don't know how to become a hockey player, the questions were simply, hey, how does he train? What does he eat? See, if I was going to be a hockey player, I needed to know what to do. So they said to come back in a few days. They'd have it all written out. I went back. There it was. His meal plans, his exercise program, everything I'd need to get started. So then I just got to work. I made the necessary changes in my diet. I got the workouts going and things. I was now living as a hockey player. I didn't need to figure things out. I just needed the recipe. I just needed to know what steps to take in order to get a similar result for myself. So herein lies the lesson. If you can identify someone who's living the life you'd like, or they're accomplishing things that you'd like to accomplish, you don't have to go blindly into the world and try to figure things out. In fact, doing that, you're likely to repeat a lot of the same mistakes they made. So save yourself some time. All you need to do is follow the path that they've created. For anything you want to accomplish, there's a recipe out there. You don't need to try and figure it out. You just need to follow the steps for the goal that you want to achieve. But first, you need to know which path to follow. And that starts with identifying who you're going to model. Who's that person out there that you'd like to be like? For me, it was that local hockey player that was already on his journey. I figured if I just did what he did, I should get a similar result. And this goes for any achievement you want. You model the model, and you should get similar results. Maybe not exactly the same. I mean, after all, you have gifts that they don't have, and they have gifts that you don't. But overall, the recipe should net a similar result. It's like going into the bake shop and you see a beautiful cake and think, I'd like to make that cake. So the baker hands you the recipe. You put all the ingredients together, you follow the recipe step by step, you're going to produce a beautiful cake. Maybe not exactly the same as the baker, but it should be close. So if you're lost and you're trying to figure out how to become the person you want to be, or to achieve the goals that you want to achieve, find your model. Find that baker who'll give you the recipe. Sometimes we make things harder than they need to be. The path is already out there. Find it, and you'll find your happiness. I think you're due for a reward. I know that you've accomplished so much in your life that you are due for something special. But hey, that's just my opinion. What do you think? You've been overdue for so long that I bet you've forgotten all the wonderful things that you've done, or the obstacles that you've had to overcome. I'm not talking about the big milestones. Those moments you'll remember forever. I'm talking about the smaller, maybe seemingly insignificant, yet powerful things that you did that at the time you may not even noticed. Like the day you started at the gym and got back into a healthy lifestyle. Or the time you finished a book and it reminded you of the superpowers you have. Or the day you cut off a toxic relationship so that you could find your peace of mind. All of these things may have seemed trivial at the time, but look at you now. In Darren Hardy's book, The Compound Effect, he discusses the powers that small events have on our lives. We may not feel their long-term effect right away, but without these small acts having taken place, we wouldn't even be where we are today. Every day we wake up, it's a day to celebrate, because there's going to be something in that day that moves us towards the who or what we want to become. The daily, sometimes minuscule actions might be invisible in the short term, but they all have a powerful impact in the long run. Take going to the gym, for instance. After one workout, you won't notice any change. After a week, you still won't feel like much is happening, but trust me, the changes have been set in motion. After 3, 6, or 12 months, all of those weekly workouts, if you viewed them on their own, well, they'd be nothing. But the accumulation of hundreds of workouts have completely transformed your body. You may not have arrived yet to your ideal fitness goals, but you are light years ahead of where you started. But did you reward yourself for getting started? Or after the first week or month of workouts? What were you waiting for? Were you waiting to reward yourself when you finally got into that pair of jeans, or felt comfortable to walk the beach in just your swimsuit? Come on, life is short. Time to celebrate the small steps. Because without the small steps, there'd be no giant leaps. We'd never cross the finish line if we didn't take the first step. And that's where we started this discussion. You're overdue for a reward. Whatever little accomplishments you've made today or this week, it's time to celebrate. Don't wait till you walk the beach. Don't wait for the world to acknowledge your gains. Give yourself permission to celebrate now. You've earned it, but more importantly, you deserve it. You know, every so often, I find myself getting into one of those, is what I'm doing really making an impact kind of mood. I start to question my place in the world, and with that, I begin to hear the voice of doubts. In the day-to-day journey of our existence, hey, I know it's easy to feel insignificant, and I know I'm not alone in this feeling. We often perceive ourselves as mere drops in the ocean of humanity, believing that our actions, however well-intentioned, make no difference in the grand scheme of things. But let me tell you a story. It's a story about a humble beaver whose seemingly mundane actions have an impact far beyond its comprehension. In the heart of a dense forest, there lived a beaver named Barry. Every day, Barry diligently went about his routine, gnawing on trees and building dams with unwavering determination. Now, to an outsider, Barry's activities might have seemed inconsequential, just another creature going about its daily life. But little did anyone know Barry was orchestrating a masterpiece of environmental engineering that would shape the landscape for generations to come. You see, Barry's dams created a ripple effect that transformed the ecosystem around him. By creating ponds and wetlands, he provided habitat for countless species of plants and animals. The ponds became an oasis for thirsty creatures. The wetlands, nurseries for delicate ecosystems. Through his tireless efforts, Barry inadvertently became a guardian of biodiversity, his impact echoing through the forest like the dean of life. But Barry was unaware of the magnitude of his actions. See, to him, he was just doing what came naturally, following his instincts and fulfilling his role in the ecosystem. He didn't set out to be a hero, he was simply being himself. And therein lies the beauty of his story, the realization that even the most ordinary among us can have an extraordinary impact. In our own lives, it's easy to underestimate the power of our actions. We may not be building dams or reshaping landscapes, but every choice we make sends ripples outward, influencing the world in ways we may never fully comprehend. Whether it's a smile offered to a stranger, a kind word spoken to a friend, or a small act of generosity. See, all these gestures have the potential to create positive change. As Mahatma Gandhi once said, in a gentle way, you can shake the world. It's a reminder that even the smallest of actions can have a profound effect when multiplied by the collective efforts of individuals. Just like Barry, we each have a role to play in shaping the world around us, a role that is uniquely ours and irreplaceable. Think of the teacher who inspires her students to reach for the stars, the volunteer who lends a helping hand to those in need, or the artist who moves hearts with his music. Their contributions may seem insignificant in isolation, but together they form the building blocks of a better world. It's a testament to the power of collective action, the idea that when individuals come together with a shared purpose, they can move mountains and overcome seemingly insurmountable obstacles. So the next time you find yourself questioning the significance of your actions, remember Barry the Beaver. Remember that even the smallest of creatures can leave an indelible mark on the world around them. Each day is a blank canvas upon which we paint the masterpiece of our lives. Let's seize the opportunity to create something beautiful, something meaningful, something that will leave the world a little brighter than when we found it. And remember that you, the seemingly insignificant individual, well, you have the power to make a difference. Not someday, but right here, right now.